So last time we left here, our location is this, and this all the nearby schools are showing here. Okay, so now we will replace all this data with data from our database rather than data of Google Map API. Okay, so we'll do that now. So first let's create a database. So I'm using IDSQL. So here I will create new database called Larmap. So I will update that in environment file here inside .env file. So connection will be that, database will be Larmap. So username is root, so password is nothing in my case. So now our database is configured. Next we will create a table where we will be storing our data. Okay, so here we will store we will find the girls around this location. Okay, so rather than finding schools, we'll find the beautiful girls around our location. Okay, so let's create that table. So I'm using this git bash. So open your git bash at this location. Okay, Larmap cd into that location. I just did right clicked and git bash here. Okay, so it will create that. So I will create a new model and table at the same time. So php artisan make model. So model name is girl, and -m will create the table name called girls. Okay, so check out this. Yeah, so model and the girls table is created. So now our table is created. We'll add some columns in that. So go to your table here inside database migrations. You'll see this. Okay, so here create girls table. So inside here we'll add some field. So table, and inside that field name will be name of girl. So next will be, so actually create this float. Okay, so our latitude and longitude will be float value. So let and duplicate this to create the longitude lang. So now our this girls table has 3 column which we created. These two are created by default. So first will be name of girl, latitude and longitude value of that girl. Okay, so yeah, so let's migrate that. So php artisan migrate. Yeah, so now just check this out. So our girls table is created. So let's go to our model. So go here. So we'll create a fillable field. Okay, so that this data can be fillable, protected. Next we'll create a controller which will be responsible for fetching all the data. Okay, so php artisan make controller. So name of controller will be search girls controller. So controller is done. Now let's open that controller, search girls. So now this is done. So let's go to script.js. Here everything is fine last time. So we'll replace this part. Okay, so this part with our data from database. So I will comment out this. Instead I will make new function called search girls. Okay, so we'll pass latitude and longitude value. Yeah, we'll pass this lat value and longitude value. So we'll search for SEA. So we'll search for girls according to these values. Okay, so actually we'll search for between some range of value. Okay, so you'll see that. So now as we have commented out this function, we don't need this either, just comment this out. So instead we'll make our new function called, so this function will take two data, latitude and longitude. After we get these two data, we'll do ajax, we'll post the ajax request, okay, to database and fetch the value in the range of these two data. Okay, so first make the post request. So dot post, so it will take three parameters. One is where we want to post our request, okay, and next will be set of data, and next will be function which will contain the matched results. Okay, so like this. So where we want to post this request is at this location. So http / local host / search girls. Okay, so we'll create this route in a moment. So here we'll pass data in JSON format. So lat, this is key, and value will be same, this lat will be this value. Okay, so this is just a key, you can create any key you want. Okay, so next other data will be lng, so same lng. So we are passing this data and we will get the matched result. Okay, so console log that thing. We'll test this out first before going further. So let's create this route. Okay, so let's go to web.php. Here we'll duplicate this route and we'll create new one / search girls. Okay, same thing. So slash will be up to here, this localhost. Okay, / girls will be that location. So let me revise this. So we are posting the post request. Okay, doing post request to this URL where we are supplying these two data. Okay, and we'll get the result in form. So in web.php we'll define the, we have already made the controller. Okay, so we'll make a method. Okay, so here search girls controller. Okay, at the rate, so which method, same search girls. Actually this is post request, so post not get. So this is okay. Now let's go to girls controller and create that method which we have just specified, search girls. So we'll do the request instance request. So now we'll get these two data. Okay, we'll just store that in some value. So request let, let's duplicate this and let same for longitude value. So now we are getting these two data. Okay, from here, these two data, this key, we are accessing this like here. Okay, so now we get latitude and longitude value. Now we query this result and get our name of girl, or we'll get the latitude and longitude value from database. Okay, so these two latitude and longitude value is current location of user. So what we do is we'll query the data in between in some for example, if that is latitude value is 22.3, we'll get the day, all the name of girls that is in between 22.22 to 24. Okay, so you'll see that in a moment if you don't understand what I'm saying. So girls, so in girls variable we will have all the girls nearby these locations, sorry, only one location. So girl, so this girl model, and where, so we'll use where between, so where between let value is between, it will take this array. Okay, so what we are saying is in this column search for all the data which is between, so let minus, so we can do -1 or 0.1, so let plus yeah, same thing, 0.1. So what we are saying is search for all the girls which have latitude value 0.1 less than our current location and 0.1 more than our current location, between these two locations. Okay, so -0.1 to plus 0.1. So we'll do same thing for our longitude. Okay, where between, same thing, lng, it will take array lng. So here I want to make slight correction. Here these latitudes are variables, so put $sign in front of them. Okay, so this is column name and these are variables. Okay, so just put $sign. So save it. Now we're okay. So let's test this whether this is returning or not. Okay, so I will return this variable. Okay, so here, so make sure you define that class. Okay, this girls, so use app/girl. So let's insert some data. Okay, at the moment we have no data in our girls table. Okay, so to make task easier I will insert the data nearby my location. So first I will get my location. So let me console log my latitude and longitude value. So where is that? Create map in script.js. I have my location here, position. Okay, so I will console log these two position. So let me, here inside success, console.log value, longitude value. So let's test this first. Let's go to browser and reload this and inspect in the console. Yeah, I got array. So first is latitude and longitude. So this is my location. So I will insert some data near to this location. Okay, so I'll copy this and paste this in notepad. So yeah, this is my latitude and this is my lng value. So I'll insert some data close to this data. Okay, so that I can access that. Yeah, let's do that. So add new data. So first one be, so I'll give this name and let value will be close to this. Okay, so 27.66. so let also same like that. So 39 will be fine. So I'll just tap and I'll duplicate this data. So now our data is in place. Let's create the ajax request. So go to script.js where we call this function, okay, with lat and longitude value, and we are passing the request. So if you try to pass request, it will say csrf token mismatch or something error, okay. So what we need to do is we have to use API routes rather than web routes. So what I'm trying to say is, so if you open your web.php where you define route, so this route was in web.php before, but I transferred it to api.php, okay. So here is a new thing in Laravel 5.3. So you define all the web related routes in this web.php and all the API related routes in api.php. So this route do not check for csrf token, okay. So it will be easy for us to post the request from here. So so just replace this code, so put it in api.php. so before it was here, okay, in your case this might be like this, okay. So just cut this and paste it here in API. So make sure you save that. So now all this route contains the API prefix, okay. So in script.js we should prefix this with API, okay. So in place of search, now everything should work fine. So you can test in the extension, Chrome extension called postman, okay. Just type in this URL and post these to data, okay. You'll get these, okay. So let's test this in browser also. So if you go to localhost once again, so let me go to localhost. So if you open and if you inspect, because we are console logging that our result, so here you'll see array, okay. So array of object, 3 object. So each object contains the name, latitude and longitude value, okay. So these 3 objects are data from our database, okay. So this is it. So now rather than console logging them, we'll use these data to mark our result, okay. So we'll mark our result. So here we are logging that result. So first of all we'll grab latitude value and longitude value, okay. So from here, so that is inside, so first array inside this, okay, dot name. So we'll loop through each result and post that, sorry, we'll use mark that these locations, okay. So as now we are getting data in match, okay. So we'll loop through each object, okay. So it contains array of object, so we'll loop through each object and we'll pass the data and mark that location in map. So I'm using jquery.each, okay. So it accepts the parameter which we want to loop through, okay. This match contains for now 3 arrays here, 3 arrays, okay. So we'll loop through each object and function. So what it does is it breaks that into key and value pair. So you'll see what I'm trying to say. So here inside this object it will create key as 0 and value as this object, okay. So key I will be 0 and value will be object. So this what this function does, okay. So I value. So let's check by logging the console log val dot name. So we access the name like this in object. So as we know that the name is here inside object. So value will be this object, value dot name will populate the name of girl. Okay, so let's refresh this and see data here. Okay, so it populates the name of girls, so like this. Okay, so now rather than console logging this, we'll take the latitude and longitude value and create the marker, okay, using this function. So let's do that. So we'll make new variable, so g lat val. Okay, so girls latitude value will be val dot lat. Okay, so yeah, value dot lat. So similarly for longitude value, so I'll replace this with lng. So now we get these two value, and we will also, let's get girl's name. G name will be val dot name. Okay, so now first of all create marker. So we'll use that function create marker. So it accepts 3 value lat lang. Okay, so first let's create that. Okay, so I will take help of this, copy this and paste it here. So this, copy this and paste it here like so. Okay, so here g lat val. Okay, so here will be rather than lng, so we'll pass this value to this. Okay, let's make g lat lang. Okay, so that it won't be confusing. So g lat lang, so first value this function takes is lat lang value, which we are passing here. Next we'll pass the icon value, so let's make it g icon. So name will be g name as it was. So now we are doing, so let's pass this g icon. Okay, so yeah, g icon, so we can use that flag variable flag URL of that flag, paste that value here. So it is good practice to put var. Okay, so just do that for everyone, every variable. So now let's test this. Yeah, that's working fine. So if you hover over this will tell us name of girl. Okay, so this is Sita, this is Anna, and this is, who are you, Angel. Okay, so now it's working fine. This is how you fetch data from database. Okay, so let me revise it real quick for you. Okay, so here we are calling function source girls. So inside that function we are doing this post request to this URL, passing these two value. These two value are coming from here. Okay, lat value and long value, whereas this value are given by our browser. Okay, so we are passing that, and we are using this value to post the requests. We post the request and fetch the data from database using our search girls controller here. Okay, so what we did here is we just catch those value lat and longitude from here also. So we catch all value using this request, and we query using these two data. Okay, so what we are doing is inside this column table search for all the latitude values. Generally we are checking is in this tolerance range. Okay, so 0.1 and plus 0.1. Also same for longitude value, so minus 0.1 to plus 0.1. so we are querying all result in this tolerance level. Okay, so you can adjust them. Okay, so how close you want to query those results. So hope I explained this well. So if you don't understand, just comment down below. Okay, I will help you. So we are returning these girls. Okay, so So this return value will be cached by this match function. Here we'll cache this value, goals value. So we'll cache that in here. Next we loop through each value, okay, each value. So if you don't understand this, okay, just surf in jQuery, okay, there is documentation for that. So generally we are doing is key and value pair. So value contains that object, we are catching up all the latitude and longitude value in this variable, and we are marking that data here, okay. So this is how we do. So I will see you in the next series, okay, bye.